Morning. All right, it is now 7 minutes past 6 and off for a morning flight. We've got a very slight southerly breeze coming in off the sea, so that it should be quite pleasant to launch and fly in. Got my wingman, Mr. Matthew Austin, he's coming out too. It's the earliest we've ever been for a flight. The aim was to do a sunrise flight, but sunrise is at 5 o'clock. And I think with the best will in the world, none of us are going to get up at that time. The sun's not high yet. It's still looking pretty nice. Hopefully there's going to be some low-lying mist. It should be pretty epic. So it's going to be my 5th flight, and I'm pretty confident. Everything's going okay. Hoping for a good landing. So far the first 4 flights have been a bit 50-50. First flight landed on my feet, second flight landed on my arse, third flight landed on my feet, fourth flight landed on my arse. So we're hoping for this 5th flight, it's going to be a nice foot landing. Now the last flight, I managed a couple of firsts. It was the first time I had my brake lines tangled, which was pretty exciting. Never managed that before, and that is a bit of a rookie mistake, that is. That's not checking the wing properly before takeoff. It wasn't a bad tangle. It was easy to take apart, but I had to take my throttle off my hand, which again, that was a second first. Now, you don't need to have throttle in your hand all the time when you're flying. I mean, you can take it off, but on a 4th flight, that was pretty nerve-wracking because you tend to want to hold on to everything. And right in the front of my mind was, if I haven't got my hand on my throttle, I've got no control. But in these situations, altitude is your friend. So, as soon as I noticed that it was all tangled up, after shitting myself for a split second, I went and got some altitude, so throttle came off, tucked it behind my chest strap. I've since been told that's probably not the best place to put it, probably the best place is to sit on it. But what that gave me the chance was to just glide and concentrate on untangling that brake line. Again, which was an easy thing to do. But the relief once it was untangled was amazing. But that was a good flight, that was. Very cold. Even though it was nice and warm on the ground, at 2,000 feet it got chilly very quick. Managed a 35-minute flight. Fingertips were frozen again. What were the firsts? First time I adjusted trims in flight. Now I didn't let them out and go balls out speed flying. Pulled them out to about 3.5 on the universal. Can't say I noticed much difference in the flight characteristics. Neutral position is at 6, I believe. At that point you can use brakes. After that you've got to use the tip steering. So what I'm planning on today is to let the trims out to about 6, maybe a bit more, and do some tip steering. See what that's like. We have some nearby hazards. We've got a few large towns we have to avoid. There is a private airfield. We know the people there, we've met them. 2 of the lads have flown from there before as well. They're quite happy with Paramotors. But we've got to watch out for flights from there coming in and out. There's also an MOD live fire range. Really want to stay clear of that. But other than that, the breeze is coming off the south from the sea. A nice, steady, gentle morning breeze. So there shouldn't be really any rotor. There's some low-lying trees nearby. So when we're close to the ground, there could be a bit of turbulence. But like I say, the wind is very slow to nil wind. So I don't think that's going to be a particular problem. It's certainly nothing we haven't experienced before. One thing though, it's a morning flight, so flying conditions are going to get progressively worse as time goes on. As the ground starts heating up, the thermals are going to start popping off, so we do need to be down in time for that. About 10 o'clock apparently it starts to get bad. Both me and Matt have got to be at work for 9 o'clock, so we hope to be on the ground for about 8 o'clock. We should be clear of that, no problem at all. But always in the back of your mind, weather conditions, keep looking out for that. If it starts to get bumpy and thermally, we need to be on the ball, be ready for it, and come into a land safely. Only if we don't like it though. Only if it gets too bad. And here we are. This is our flying zone. Oh, it is like any car park full of potholes. There we go. Right, it looks beautiful out there. We have absolutely gorgeous low-lying mist. Oh, that is nice. Well, right, now I'm here. Matt's here. It looks like he's already unloaded, and I'll see you next in the field. Okay, this happens. You get to your field, you have a look out, and there's a beautiful layer of low-lying cloud. And then within 20 minutes, it's thick fog. Flying's off, I think. This is a good old-fashioned sea mist. And if you live by the coast, you know what these are. They come in fast and they come in thick. And you can't even see the sky anymore. So taking off isn't going to happen. You're launching this, oh fingers, launching in this, you're going to quickly find you can't see the ground anymore, and you can't see your landing site. If you can't see your landing site, you can't land. Now with 7 litres of fuel, I'm going to get a couple of hours probably, but I ain't staying up there for a couple of hours waiting till I can see the ground, hoping I can see the ground at some point. That's sometimes the reality of flying paramotors in the UK. The sea fog is starting to clear. There's a nice haze. It's getting warm. Looks beautiful for flying. But I've got work to go to, so I can't fly whenever I want. Alright, this is Lloyd from the future. It's now about 7:30. It's probably about 12 hours since this morning when we were out, back in the field. No surprise, all that sea fog's gone. That was all clearing up as we left this morning, and it's been a beautiful day. And it's a beautiful evening. The wind has picked up a little bit. It's not strong, but there are gusts. Forecasts say gusts of about 13-14 mile an hour, in between almost nil wind conditions. It's not ideal for me. I think I've gone a long way to talk myself out of flying. I want to keep flights to gusts at maximum 10. And while it feels pretty still, the windsock's going some, and it is still changing direction. So it's not a steady breeze. Could be a little bit of rotor coming off some nearby trees. So it's not probably the best indicator at the minute, but it's a good indicator. Looking down on the lowlands at the bottom of the hill there's some smoke, and that is pretty consistently blowing in one direction. I don't doubt these are absolutely perfect flying conditions, but with a little bit more experience, because it could be a little bit bumpy up there with gusts blowing in. But if you have a sort of a prediction of what it's going to be like, I guess it kind of puts you off a little bit. It kind of puts me off a little bit. Maybe I'd be happy if I didn't know. Ignorance is bliss. Mr. Austin's on his way out. He's had a bit of a water leak at home, so he's running a bit late. And Mr. Nathan, Mr. Parahooner 1, he's off to work. He's off into London to put out fires or something. I'm going to sit here for a bit longer, wait for Matt to turn up, we'll discuss it.
Okay, Google, search for burst water mains repair kit.
He's going to be mad keen to fly, as I am. I really want to fly as well. I'm certainly not going to stop him flying if he wants to, that's his choice. I'll be ground crew for him, be on radio. You've got to treat this sport with respect and try and understand the weather and what it can do and how it can make your flight an absolute misery. I've just been sitting down for the last half hour chatting shit, watching the windsock, and there's been a steady, gentle breeze all that time. We didn't fly because that breeze is coming in over the top of those trees, and we can't run at those trees to fly. That'd be a big mistake. So if you've been watching these videos and you feel like you want to get into paramotors, I know the person you need to talk to. All you need to do is give Simon Westmore a call at Paramotor Training. He's based out of Membury Airfield near Swindon. It's a fantastic site, loads of space, loads of kit to train on. There's one fee, and you get a year's worth of training. You can turn up whenever you like in that time, and even when your training's finished, he's on the end of a phone, he'll talk to you about anything. You'll meet a bunch of really great, friendly people. Everyone's into the same thing, everyone's really passionate about this sport, and everyone's going to want to see you succeed. Once you finish your training, you need to get yourself some kit, he'll get it for you. He'll advise you on what's best for you, what the best wing is, what the best motor is, everything you need to get into the air safely, fly safely, and have a fantastic flying career. Plus, you'll get membership to the Paramotor Training Club, which gives you free entry to 3, 4 maybe fly-ins a year, and they are cracking fly-ins. Whoop! There's Mr. Matty Austin doing his piece to camera. There we go. Bollocks. Anyway, send it.